What's up and welcome back. I'm John Starr from MacMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and today we're going to talk about Matlock, the new series. This is season 1, episode 1. Some series I've been doing 2 episodes of because I want to marinate. Other series I've done 1 episode because I'm like, I don't need to see that again. Rescue, High Surf. Matlock, I'm doing 1 episode because this is an excellent pilot, and I don't need the second episode to know that about the show. So kudos to some brilliant people who were in a room and came up with the show, because this is how you reboot a show right here. This is the greatest reboot of all time. I'm going to say that. I'm going to throw that out there, and I'll explain why. So I'm going to back that up with facts. This does have audio description. Presumably it did when it aired live on CBS, but it does have pass-through audio description to Paramount Plus next day. From Media Access Group. The only thing that always bugs me about this audio description is that it runs with like a disclaimer, assuming that people are here like by mistake, you know? Like, who are all these people who are getting in the SAP and changing their audio language? Is it really that big of a problem? Because it's like, in case you're not, in case you're wondering what the hell this is, we're going to put that in the audio description. And it's unique to CBS. Like, CBS is the only company that feels like they have to do that, where they're like, if this is the audio description, and if you've come here mistakenly, you got to go to the SAP channel, and, I'm like, I don't know. Cool. Anyway, I don't have a choice, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't go into the SAP channel and choose site and be like, oh, wow, look, I don't need audio description anymore. Look at that. What a beautiful world I live in. This show stars Kathy Bates, Beau Bridges, Jason Ritter, and it's got Leah Lewis, who I don't expect everybody to know who that is, but interestingly, she voiced the lead in Elemental. So Disney Pixar's Elemental. So good to see her out there getting work. I think that's probably where most people would know her without knowing her. They'd be like, oh, she's done some other things live action wise, but I feel like most people have seen Elemental, or a lot of people have seen Elemental. And we are introduced to Maddie Matlock, who's played by Kathy Bates, sort of a doddering elderly woman at the beginning, and she's got those little candies, and she just kind of like works her way into a law firm, and she seems very smart, and she kind of gets herself like a 2-week trial at this firm through basically reminding them that now it wouldn't be because of my age that you've denied me an interview, would it? Because that would be discrimination. And so she catches a law firm in their own thing. So they're like, you know what? Well, everybody has a 2-week trial period before they're hired. And she has sort of news on another case where she has some good information and it helps them out. So she makes them like another $4 million. And she goes off and she helps this Olivia with her case. And this is sort of like a family law firm with Beau Bridges sort of at the helm. And his son is Jason Ritter, and he's got a wife, ex-wife. They're in the middle of a divorce. And custody battle that they're in and stuff that is sort of like a backstory to these main cases that they're working on. Jason Ritter is working on this case that Kathy Bates like kind of helped him with. And then Olivia has these other 2 junior associates that are helping her. One of them is Leah Lewis. And then she picks up, she's asking, she's like, I need more help. I don't have enough help. If I had help, I'd be able to help this. She's helping a guy who was put away in jail but was innocent for 26 years, get sort of like the money that he was owed because of police corruption and stuff like that. She's claiming that was why he was in there. So she's trying to win this case and win money, and if she wins money, she can maybe get the law firm to pursue more cases like this, so she doesn't have to defend things that make her feel icky. So we go through the whole thing, and Maddie, and all the little intricate details. I don't want to spoil the entire episode for you, but I have to, because we have to talk about the twist and the reason why Matlock is the greatest reboot of all time. Of all time. Of all time. It beats all of the reboots, I think, at this point. I'm trying to think of like another reboot where I'm like, I don't think it's ever been done before. Because everybody was like, oh, Matlock. Oh my God, they're doing Matlock. Oh my God, Kathy Bates. How do you ever reboot Matlock? You can't really remake Matlock. This can't really be. And if you haven't heard already, it's not really Matlock. And that's what's kind of great about it, is it is and it isn't. It's very meta, but in a very interesting way. So the twist here is that she's not Matlock. She says she is, and she makes a joke that directly references the TV series. And she says that her whole life that she's, that people have joked with her. They're like, when they hear her last name, they're like, oh, like the TV series. You're a lawyer, like in the TV series. And she's like, well, no, he's not a real person. He's a TV, I'm an actual lawyer, like that kind of thing. And, she never insinuates like the show was based off of her or anything like that. But, so you're like, okay, well, that's the twist, right? So it's not a reboot. It's referencing the fact that Matlock was a TV show, and this lady's name happens to be Matlock. And ha ha ha, that's the joke. But wait, there's more. So at the end of the episode, after watching Kathy Bates kind of, again, be like doddering around as this, Mrs. Claus-ish, kind of whip-smart attorney, but also very grandmotherly. She leaves, and you just kind of assume she's going to go back to, she keeps saying that she's here because she needs the money. She's like, you do it, at different points in your life. Sometimes you do it for the, because you need the, because you're taking the cases, and you're standing up for the little people, and then sometimes you do it because you need the money. And she's like, right now I really just need the money. And you're like, oh, so she's poor. Oh my God, something happened. And she references that she's got like a surly teenager at home that doesn't really like her, and something happened to her daughter, and now she's having to raise this grandson. And so she's giving herself all this backstory. And she leaves, and she gets into a bus that takes her basically to this waiting town car. And the town car drives her up to this mansion that she lives in with her husband, where her name is not even Matlock. It's something else completely. And her whole thing is bullshit. Her entire existence is bullshit. And she's literally a mother whose daughter was killed by an opioid, that could have been taken off the market, but they believe, and they have fucking like crime boards and stuff up in there, like that they've been tracking this forever, her and her husband, and they've got this little grandson who is adorably smart, by the way, and they've been plotting and scheming this, and they've set her up with like a fake LinkedIn, and he confirmed her references and stuff like that, the husband, because they don't know that she has, because she mentions at one point that the husband died. So and you just kind of take everything that she says at first with full, like, oh yeah, this has to be true. Why wouldn't it be? Because it already feels like well, they've already deviated from the Matlock thing. So she's not Matlock. She's not Andy Griffith. You know, she's not related to Andy Griffith. She's not the daughter of Matlock. Nothing like that. Like, they didn't go, it's, at first, it's like some weird meta thing. And then it turns out to be something completely different where her name isn't even Matlock. So she's just a completely different person who's there because this law firm screwed over this case that could have saved her daughter's life, but her daughter ended up dying. So she's there to try to basically burn it down. She's like somebody at this, she's basically got one of the three main characters at the firm. She thinks that one of them hid evidence that would have saved her daughter's life, and they did it to serve this big pharmaceutical company. And so she's there to right the wrong for her daughter, who has passed away. That was like the one truth that she told out of both stories, is that her daughter has passed. So I was like, damn. Okay, so that's how you reboot, is that you completely just, like, you set people up and you tell people, we got a Matlock reboot coming, you know what I'm saying? And then, like, the show is just not that at all. Like, could you imagine if Frasier had been something like this? I don't even know what it would have been like, but it'd be like Kelsey Grammer coming in, he's like, I'm Frasier Crane. Oh, never mind, I'm actually Kelsey Grammer as Frasier Crane. I'm not actually Kelsey Grammer. That wasn't my birth name. My birth name was actually John Edwards. And, you know, like, you just, like, what's happening in this Frasier reboot? You know, I don't even know. It doesn't, I'm trying to think of, like, how you apply this to other series. And I'm like, where would you even go with this? Like, it's so intriguing, though. It would be like doing Hawaii Five-0, but they're not actually in Hawaii. You know, it's like actually, and nobody's a cop. You know, it's like, it's like there's a promise of this is what the show is, and then they're like, this is not what the show is. Gotcha. I feel like it's the greatest bait and switch of all time, and I'm so here for it. I feel like some people probably had like a visceral angry reaction to it because they probably really wanted a Matlock reboot, but it's like, why? Why do you want the Matlock reboot? Like, Andy Griffith's show is fine. Like, I would love for, you know, I mean, they talked about like rebooting Murder, She Wrote. There was one that was on a table for a while for Octavia Spencer. And it's like, now I want them to go back and do it, but do it like this. And completely just throw out the concept and figure out a way to do Murder, She Wrote while sort of tipping your hat at the existence of Murder, She Wrote, but at the same time, it's like completely different, you know. I don't know. This had never been done before to this extent, where they create a show and they completely just throw away the original concept. They reference it. They're like, yeah, Matlock was a TV show. You're right. It was. This is not that. I'm Maddie Matlock. I'm completely different. I'm not related to the show at all. Oh, I'm not even Maddie Matlock. Fair fun fact. So, yeah, I felt like in terms of pilots, because I talk a lot about how the pilot episode is so important. You have to make a great pilot. This is a great pilot. This is exactly, I have no idea if this show is going to last. I don't know what this show is going to look like episode after episode, but this is how you pilot, motherfuckers. Right here. This is how you create a great hour of television that is memorable and interests people and says, you want to come back and see more, you know, and really introduces you to the characters. It did everything right. This pilot did everything right. The only reason people wouldn't like this is if they were like, they just had such an angry visceral reaction to it like faking them out, that they were like, you got me, you know, like how people are like, they get really mad when they get got like that, and they're like, oh, I can't believe you fooled me, you know. I thought this was gonna be a real Matlock reboot. I did too, but I much prefer this. I much prefer ingenuity. I much prefer like people sitting in a room and having a conversation and they're like, what if we rebooted Matlock? but what if we didn't reboot Matlock? And so it was like, what does that even mean? Let me explain. Like I'm so intrigued, like, by these showrunners and these writers. This is why writers matter. An algorithm never would have fucking done this. Everybody's like, oh, well, AI is going to take the job of the writers. An AI never would have done this. An AI never would have thought to do this. It would have always required the human light bulb. You know what I'm saying? That light bulb that goes off in your head that says, but what if? That is what this is. It's that spark of imagination. And it brought that to Matlock, and I think it's fucking great. I do. I think this series is excellent. Especially the pilot. I, again, don't know. I don't know. We've got episodes to go, possibly seasons. I think it's funny that Kathy Bates has chosen this to be like her final thing, and she's like, after this is done, I'm quitting. So the whole thing is on CBS. It's like, well, CBS, Kathy Bates' entire career is now in your hands. So if you cancel the show, she's done. You would be responsible for putting Kathy Bates into retirement. Do you want to be responsible for that, CBS? No, I would give this series a multi-season order. I'd be like, you know what, Kathy, we're going to double down. We're going to sign you to a 10-year contract. It's bad luck. It's going to air this shit forever. I don't know what this looks like long term. I don't know. Does she solve the case? Does she become friends with the firm? Does she learn more? Like, I'm very intrigued by the promise of what this could be. It does feel like a show that would have to completely change and evolve in order to be something that would run 10 seasons. They don't have to tip their hat and reveal, who was the person. She doesn't have to solve this case in the season 1. There can be a twist that prevents her from solving it and opens up the door wider to like more information, so that way she can still be who she is. You can make that last easily for 2 or 3 seasons, because I don't even think they're doing full. IMDb says there's only 10 episodes in this first season. It's like, well, that's a streaming show. You could easily not complete this task in the first season and carry it over and find a new way to like be like, well, here's some more information you didn't know, and you just keep evolving it. But at some point, you're gonna have to. And then what does the series look like after that? I don't know. So maybe this doesn't have like Blue Bloods, NCIS, FBI potential of running like forever and ever, but it's great. It's a great pilot. And I've criticized so many other shows for having really crappy pilots that don't pull you in, that because people, they don't have to create pilots for streaming services. They get series orders. So what is so it's like the lost art of creating a great pilot. But they did it here. They did it for CBS. They had to create a pilot for Matlock. And I would have loved to be a fly on that room when the people at CBS were watching this pilot and they were like, well, we're ordering this to series. So it's not Matlock, but it is. What a great twist. I liked it. I loved it. I'm 100% here for it. I still think The Penguin is probably the best pilot I've seen, just because of how structured it is. And the best compliment I could pay it is the fact that it felt like it was directed by Martin Scorsese, which is like, I don't know how you top that. Like, I don't know where else you go with that. But the Matlock wins on concept. You know what I'm saying? Like, to have the balls to take Matlock and to just say, yeah, we're going to do Matlock, and to let people think you're doing Matlock, and then to do this instead. I love it. So I'm going to give Matlock an A. Absolutely straight up an A. I fully recommend you watching this pilot and choosing for yourself. Even if you were thinking to yourself, I don't know, do I really want to watch Matlock? Fucking watch the pilot. So at least you can watch history being made, because I've never seen this. I can't think of a single one of these reboot, requel, remakes, anything where they've just completely shut it out. I think they did something sort of meta with the 90210 remake, but it wasn't like this. It wasn't like where they were like, oh, we're ourselves, but we're not really ourselves, you know? Like, I'm not I'm not really Tori Spelling. I'm someone else. Mwahaha, you know? It's that extra reveal, you know? It's not just the meta-ness of it. It's not just like referencing the series and being like, well, we're the series outside the series. It's then the plot twist of, no, I'm not even that. I'm not even that. I loved it. I love the double down on the twist. You know, at first you have uh, the setup of, is she Matlock? How related to Matlock is she going to be? Oh, she's not related to Matlock. Oh, it's a TV show in this universe. Huh, that's interesting. And then later on, she's not even Matlock. Love it. Here for it, 100%. Audio description. Yeah, I love the audio description for stuff like this. But CBS uses Media Access Group, and they do good work. I just wish they would stop telling people how to turn off. Sometimes there's commercials. I hate that too, where they're like, this is sponsored by Toyota. Go everywhere. And I'm like, why is a car company sponsoring audio? The fuck am I going to do with a car, man? Like, people who use audio description, likely cars are not going to be the number one thing on there. What a weird sponsor. I always thought there was a weird sponsor. Like, thank you, Toyota. But at the same time, why? Like, why is Toyota sponsored? It should be somebody who has a chance of getting blind and visually impaired people to actually buy their product. Like, I'm not going to go buy a car. I can't drive it. I don't know what you want from me. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And I love Matlock, and you will too. So I'll see you guys on the other side.